get this bad boy up and running. So this is game number 2 of Traestaree versus Janonator. Take it away, Skarzig. I'll be right back.
Alrighty, so I'm going to be taking over this one. They're going back in, of course, with the mirror match. Excuse me, not the mirror, rather the rematch. Now, we do see Ghost Links, which I think is really hilarious. The opening gambit lets you send a random enemy minion to a different spot. And so that's going to be useful for disrupting what your opponent's going to do. Going first in the Amazyng race is very strong because you get to take that first corner right away. Because Duelyst is normally balanced around both players meeting in the center and taking the mana. It's not actually balanced around moving to the corners. So now that both players are able to take the corners on their first turn, player 1 has maybe a slightly stronger advantage, but we'll see how it stacks up here in this next match.
All right, I'm back. What did I miss?
Nothing. They're just taking corners. Scintilla coming down. No big deal.
Beam shot coming down.
Yeah. And the beam shock opening up with the classic opening. Fortunately, Janonator was able to take a corner first.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like Janonator. What would you do here? So I really like to save my silhouette tracers if I can, especially against Linar, because you have to hop away from provoke units a lot. But I don't think he has a really good play otherwise.
Right. I think that he might opt for just using the tracer here to offset some of the beam shock slowing him down, and maybe just trying to win the race as quickly as possible before all those heavy drops start coming down.
Yeah. Well, we saw, Elix and Ironcliff and some pretty scary things. So maybe he's just going to, hustle around the board if he can. It looks like this Alcuin's going to get some real value by nabbing that beam shock again.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so he's still able to delay him getting the second corner. Traestaree right now at a very heavy advantage, because now that he's starting to advance to the other side of the board, Janonator doesn't really have anything that's going to stop him as effectively as what Traestaree's been putting out.
Yeah. So I think what we'll probably see here is maybe a Heart Sister to kill the Alcuin, and then a Gravity Well to sort of keep Traestaree trapped there, right? Maybe not. Okay, he's not taking the he's not killing the Alcuin, but he is taking away one of the mana tiles, so that seems okay.
Right, because you don't want him to ramp. Traestaree going onto 5 mana next turn. You don't want to ramp into the Elix or anything silly like that. So Gravity Well is going to be coming down, and I think that Janonator is pretty wise here in prioritizing taking down the Scintilla.
Yeah, it definitely got a lot of value last game. But remember, he is placing Zeron, so it's only a 1 mana investment for him to heal this Scintilla all the way back to full health. Ooh, I like this. Oh, and he's chromatic holding it just to kill it. That's good.
Perfect.
Nice play.
Yeah, so Gravity Well, again, you got to remember the utility of that card to be able to take mana tiles.
Yeah. So someone in chat asked how are you allowed to use Warbird since it attacks generals? So to answer your question, you can use indirect damage to deal damage to generals. Things like Entropic Gaze or Phoenix Fire or Warbird. They don't attack generals in the way that's prohibited by the rules. You can't attack them with a minion or general, but incidental damage, even stuff via like Blast or Frenzy, is allowed. So there's a viable burn strategy in the Amazyng race, albeit one that isn't really in line with what I hope the rules of the game are, but well, who knows.
And again, Warbird, just happens to target that row that the general happens to be standing in, right, and deal some damage.
Yeah. Yes, for folks that are just joining us, we're doing the Amazyng Race Tournament. If you need any of the rules, just type in !race. You can read all up about it over there. The main point is you're trying to get your general to the 4 corners of the map as fast as possible. All right. So we've got Janonator still only with 1 corner, while Traestaree starting to make his way across the board. But it looks like he's got a really solid way to take this Silhouette Tracer out of the equation to slow down Traestaree and to clear off his board. So, even though I think Traestaree's gotten more corners and has started to make his way across the board, it looks like Janonator, I think, has a little bit of the upper hand right now.
Exactly. Versus Vanar, things get really tricky once you need to claim those final two corners, because that's when the Avalanche becomes a becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Again, it's only going to activate on the Vanar player's starting side of the board, and if you can start chaining those, we can see here that Janonator, by the time the Avalanche becomes a thing, he'll be able to combine that with the Alcuin Lore Master and get that right back. So we could see a really, really strong lockdown here in the next few turns.
Yeah. And one other sort of minor point to add, battle pets, since they aren't controllable by the player, they don't count towards the don't attack generals prohibition. So if Icy had happened to hit Zeron, that would not have been against the rules.
Right, because you can't control them. The damage is somewhat incidental. Battle pets almost working like environmental hazards in this format.
All right, so even though I think it'd be even almost better to Alcuin back this Avalanche, I think at this point in time you've just got to snag this Beam Shock, and because you can't start avalanching while you're still on the same side of the board.
So that is really smart.
Yeah. Someone asked, what if someone plays Zukong? More power to them, honestly. If you're going to try to play a Zukong battle pet deck, man, you deserve the win if you can get it to work. But I don't know if anyone actually registered one, so it's thankfully not something I have to think about.
Right. Did you go to like Zukong and Ion or something and just try to set up?
Well, I will say one person does have an Ion combo deck, so I won't ruin the surprise, but it's not Songhai for folks who care. Interestingly
enough. That is
enough.
Very interesting indeed.
Yeah. Good play here by Traestaree. So he's using this Ironcliff Guardian a little aggressively by taking the corner and not allowing Janonator to block it, rather than using the Ironcliff Guardian to, say, lock down Janonator's general. So pretty savvy move there by Traestaree.
Mm-hmm. Because you can just have him move out of the way, take that corner when the time comes. Traestaree, though, looking at the movement here, the leftover tiles to finally cross through to the next side of the board, is probably going to have like an odd numbered turn, right, to get into that corner. Yeah. That's always harsh. We do know that Traestaree is packing the Trinity Oath, and I know that's what he wants to see here pretty soon. He's still at pretty full health, but it's important to still draw those cards and get some options.
Man, I don't know if you've taken a look at Traestaree's hand. He's got a Tempest here that is going to just blow out Janonator. It kills literally every creature on Janonator's side of the board. Bonk. Oh, man.
Tempest doing work here. Hearth Sisters done for. Gravity Well's done for. And again, now he has the Ironcliff Guardian without any bodies on the board to threaten taking that corner away from him. The Ironcliff Guardian can now start to close the distance.
Yeah.
And this positioning here, Janonator, now that he's finally able to leave the corner, is still going to be locked down next turn. Maybe he replaces into a Silhouette Tracer or something?
Well, it looks like Traestaree is trying to position this Ironcliff Guardian in a way that sort of prevents Janonator from abusing a Silhouette Tracer. So, normally the thought would be put Ironcliff Guardian right next to the general, but if he had a Tracer, he could have jumped past and kept going. Here, if he has Tracer, he's sort of still stuck. I think,
wow.
Yeah.
That's really smart foresight here.
Yeah.
Janonator now looking to play a Sojourner to maybe get a bit more options here.
Yeah. Well, the Sojourner's nice just as a warm body to block this Ironcliff Guardian from coming up and provoking him. And then he can use this Hailstone Prison. Oh, it doesn't even need to now. I was going to say use the Hailstone Prison to move something in front of him out of the way. One thing to note here is that next turn, Janonator is going to be able to start avalanching risk-free, thankfully. And then he can even avalanche and play Alcuin Lore Master, too.
Yeah, so that's really smart. Again, keeping that Ironcliff Guardian off of him so that he has the option to finally cross out of this side of the board.
I'm surprised he got rid of this other Alcuin, because with this avalanche he has, a bunch of damage that he could have played. And I also think I would have Alcuined, placing it in the. Oh no, he couldn't have done that, because then the Alcuin would have just died. Oh well. But yeah, he's going to get his opponent down to 11 here, and then next turn he's going to get to Avalanche again and Warbird again, get him down to 5. And then after that, all he needs is one more Avalanche, and he's got his opponent dead. So, well, we'll see what happens. At this point in time, it might just behoove him to see if he can't block stuff long enough to kill him with Warbird. But as we saw in Game 1, Traestaree does have a fair amount of healing here.
Right. Fortunately, the Scintilla was taken out pretty early. We don't know if he's running more than one copy of that. One thing he needs to look out for is that everything that Van Arb wants to body block with is actually fairly squishy. So if Traestaree, gets another Tempest, that could really throw a wrench in those plans. We do know that, well, Traestaree didn't play it last game, but we did even see the Decimate in his hand prior.
That's true. That is true. Well, it looks like Janonator is thinking about holding off on this Avalanche just right this second, and maybe using that as a final way to deal some damage. Because it looks like he's moving back with his Alcuin and planning on icying. So if he ices the General and then Hearthstones this Ironcliff away, that icy will do probably 4 damage as well. So he might be actually really close here.
Right, because if he does Hailstone the Ironcliff Guardian, that kind of says to Traestaree, you need to instead of using the Ironcliff Guardian to body block him further, he's saying you need to use it to keep the Icy from hitting you in the face. But actually going for an alternate route here, just getting the Silhouette Tracer out of his way so he can attempt to take this corner. Now the Icy is actually going to prioritize hitting the Silhouette Tracer. He hits Provoke. That is right. That's right. It hits Provokes first, and then after that, it favors Cardinal Directions.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to just go for the damage at this point in time. It looks like it would have been a moot point, but I still think that's your only way to win as Janonator here. Like,
with your opponent with one move to get into the corner.
Like, all your opponent needs right now is a Silhouette Tracer, and he wins. So, that being said, Janonator's going to get this last. Or not last, but penultimate corner, and then with this Avalanche, he's buying himself a turn, so doesn't take a whole lot for.
So this is getting pretty wild.
Yeah, look at that Ghost Links. This is the best possible Ghost Links. Oh man, he's got his opponent at 3 life, but he has no cards in hand.
No cards in hand. And there's still the Silhouette Tracer that Traestaree had placed there several turns ago.
Yeah.
So, Trinity Oath coming down.
Geez.
He's going to get the Silhouette Tracer. He's drawn Scintilla, Ghost Links, playing our Scout.
I don't even think it matters if he draws Silhouette Tracer. Like, just the fact that he's gaining 3 life means that it takes a lot of outs away from Janonator, right?
Mm-hmm. We saw this last game. The Scintilla was just allowing Traestaree to survive through this last-minute burn that Janonator was trying to put out. You definitely go for the Embla here.
Yeah, I think you have to. Like, it buys you at least 1 turn. I almost think you Embla up here so you can use it aggressively and go ahead and Warbird away, put your opponent to 4. And who knows? Like, literally anything right now could win the game.
Now let's see. Traestaree is not stunned. He can use the Silhouette Tracer to take out the Gravity Well below him, and then use the Repulsor Beast to move the other Gravity Well out of the way. So he's definitely able to take this. And the Avalanche!
He would have won. He would have won.
Too late. That's really unfortunate.
If he had replaced the Embla, he would have won. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was close. Like, if he had bounced his Alcuin, like someone in chat suggested, he could have bought. Well, no, he can't bounce Alcuin for Avalanche spam unless you do it in a very specific way, right? You have to let's see, play Avalanche, then Alscuin, then bounce at that turn, I think. Oh, man. That was a great game. That was one of the better Amazing races that I have seen in a while.
All right. I did like that Janonator kind of switched up his strategy, right? He was trying to go for the race there towards the end rather than burning him out because he felt like he just didn't have enough damage, but maybe that wasn't the case.
Yeah.